morning and welcome to the Healing Waters broadcast. I am so glad that you have joined me from wherever you are at all over the world. Whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, good day to you. I am your host, Marie Kennedy Groves, and if you have not tuned in to a Healing Waters broadcast before, I will forewarn you that we are raw, real, and relevant. We are very unscripted here. I love having real life conversations about real life topics, stuff that is going on in our worlds. Um, I, I always say that when things come up in my world, um, I just have come to realize that I'm not the only one that deals with stuff. We all deal with stuff. And I know that in a social media crazed world that we live in, everybody is putting out their best reels. Everybody. And we can get so enamored, I don't know if that's the right word, watching everybody else putting out there their best content, their best life. And then we can sit here and go, "Well, that isn't my world. That's not my life. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life?" And then we can find ourselves very disenchanted with the life that we're living. And while I am a huge advocate of stretching yourself and being around people that are further along in the journey than what you are, to inspire you to step it up, to go further, faster. Um, but can I inspire you to tell you um, a lot of times allow those people to be people you know in real life, people that you hang out with in real life. I'm not saying it's not okay to follow different people on social media, but what I am telling you is you have got to keep it in perspective because what you are seeing on social media is not real life. It's just not real life. And if you don't know that person personally and at least are around them on occasion, even then you may not really know the truth of what's going on behind closed doors. But at least normally, if you know that person in real life, they're going to be a little bit more open and honest with you about the pitfalls, about what they're struggling with, about, oh my gosh, this happened today. Um, I just give you lots of caution of just following people on social media and taking their content as just like, oh my gosh, their life is perfect. They're making millions of dollars. Their relationships are perfect. Everything. Don't ever take it, what you see, as being the reality of what it is. Have those people that you can have those hard conversations with and say, hey, what are you struggling with? What's your biggest challenge that you're facing in your business? What's your biggest challenge that you're facing in your relationship? And here's some truth about that it isn't all rainbows and unicorns all the time, because it's not. So last week, I reran an episode that I probably recorded. It was either 2 or 3 years ago now. Um, and to be quite honest with you, it is the top watched, listened to um, broadcast that I've ever done. And it was with my therapist friend, Genesis. And we talked about rocking our now. And I wanted to reference something that we talked about last week in our rerun episode as I get into today's topic. Because, and if you didn't see it, you can go back and watch it. But she said something so profound in that episode. She talked about how you and I can have the exact same scenario. I mean, completely mirrored scenarios, okay? But we handle those exactly same scenarios differently depending upon the glasses, the lens that we are viewing life through. And what she was explaining is the lens from which we view life, situations, circumstances depends upon what we have been through in life, if we've had healing, over trauma that has happened, or if we are still hurting, if we're still really trying to deal with a lot of things, or maybe we just refuse to deal with anything. Our lens from which we see life and which we view life from is going to be very, very skewed. So in America, last week was I don't even know if you would call it a holiday, but I guess it's a holiday that we celebrate. It's called Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day and the US of A has, in my humble opinion, now you are free to disagree with me, but in my humble opinion, Valentine's Day has really gotten out of hand and has become this day where it's almost a competition of, how can I front and what can I put out on social media? What kind of an extravagant date with my partner, with my boyfriend, girlfriend, with my husband, wife? What can we go do that is so crazy, awesome, cool, big, that I can take pictures and show and front like I have the best relationship? So we are going to talk about that right after the commercial break. So stay tuned. We will be right back because this is something, in my opinion, that desperately needs to be addressed. Not just Valentine's Day, but expectations. We will be right back.
The best things in life are the people we love, the places we've been, and the memories we've made along the way. Don't let your pelvic health get in the way of your life. The Pelvic Floor Store, your resource for personal health.
We are back. Okay, so here is the topic for today that I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about expectations versus reality. So, where we get very disenchanted with life, relationships, situations in general, is when we have an expectation of what somebody should be, or what they should do, or how it's supposed to look. And here's the expectation, and here's the reality. That gap between the expectation and the reality is where disenchantment comes and camps. So I want to talk today about how do you bring the expectation and the reality where you're on the same point level, so that there's not that disparity between expectation and where the reality is at. So some people may say, oh, well, then you just need to drop your expectations, and you need to have your expectations as nothing so that the reality can be off the chain. Okay, you could argue that point, maybe. I'm going to tell you I don't like that. For me personally, I don't want to be that person that has zero expectations. Because here's where I'm at in my life, okay? I have been that person that had very low expectations, but here's my reasoning for having very low expectations. I didn't believe that I deserved any more. I believed that whatever scraps that somebody could hand out to me, that I just needed to be so grateful. Oh, because I really didn't deserve anything better than just the scraps that somebody could hand out. Well, I'm not that girl anymore. I know what I am in. I know what I deserve. I know. Well, let me tell you something. And this can go into a lot of different subjects, but right at this particular moment in time, we are going to talk about relationships, because this past week was Valentine's Day, and I saw and heard a lot of stuff, a lot of disappointed people, just that are still licking their wounds over one day of the year. Okay, so yes, I am now that girl that I treat myself so well that my expectations of a partnership are very high, because I mean, I'm just going to tell you that if you're not going to treat me well, then I don't need you in my life. Because if you're not going to treat me better than I treat myself, okay, I don't need you in my life. So I need to make sure that I treat myself very well, so that my level standard of expectation is very high. Now, here is where I will tell you a personal story about my current relationship. Okay. So my boyfriend travels all the time. I was traveling last week. Um, we're in building mode. I mean, we're building businesses, and we knew that 2024 was going to be, I mean, head down, grinding it out. We knew that. We've had many conversations about that. So as we were planning out our month of February, knowing that Valentine's Day is stuck in the middle of February, we had a conversation and said, hey, do you have any plans for Valentine's for us? Nope. Do you? Nope. Okay. So is it okay if we go ahead and plan travel that does not include each other? Yes, we knew that we were trying to accomplish some big things in February, and we were like, yes, that is perfectly fine. You know what? We'll do something that weekend. We can celebrate anytime. Okay, do you see what we did there? We set, we had a conversation about the expectation so that the expectation in reality was right here. Okay. There wasn't a disparity on what one or the other of us was expecting, and then the other one not meeting that expectation. So we eliminated that being an issue. So this past weekend, one of the conversations that we had was we're going to be very intentional with spending time together this weekend because we have been gone and running and all the things. And I had planned to go out to a really nice dinner on the lake. And the more I got to thinking about that, let me tell you something. My boyfriend is constantly taking clients out to really nice restaurants. So, not that he doesn't appreciate nice restaurants or good food, he does. But let me tell you what I know he values more than that is a good home cooked meal where we can just sit and eat together and not have to be all dressed up and not, I mean, just to be able just to be ourselves. So I pivoted midstream in the weekend and said, you know what? I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy the ingredients and I am going to fix a nice home cooked meal. And we are going to stay right here. And when I told him what I had decided to do, I could tell the joy that he had over that was, he was like, yes, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So, did we do anything fancy? Did we do anything grand? Were we snapping pictures to put on social media? No, we certainly were not. And you know how if we said it once over the weekend, we probably said it 3 to 5 times. Where we said to each other, because we were catching up on work stuff, um, a lot of things that we were needing to talk through together, and and we did a lot of that stuff this weekend. And so many times we looked at each other and said, this is what we love. Like this, we love this. Like we love us doing this. So I share that little story with you just to tell you that, you know what? It doesn't all have to be glitz and glamour and uh, you know, you know, social media picture worthy. Oh, let me get my makeup on because I have to look good for this picture. Um, and I just it's okay, and it's okay. Sure, it's okay to dress up and go out and do if that's what you guys wanted to do and you did and you enjoyed it and you had a great time, well then God love you. That's perfect. That's perfect. All I'm saying is if you didn't have that kind of a experience, but you did what you love, you spent time together, maybe it wasn't even on that day, maybe it's just being intentional with each other today. Do that. Your relationship does not have to look like anybody else's. So I say this all the time: get off social media, stop trying to make your relationship look like somebody else's, stop comparing, because that's where expectation starts to rise. And then here's your reality because you've had no conversation about it. And there's this big disparity between the two. And then all of a sudden you're all unhappy. Oh my gosh, he doesn't love me. Our relationship sucks. I mean, all the things. And it's not just about relationship, it can be about jobs, it can be about kids, it can be about family, it can be about friends, it can be about business. Take any topic, and this applies. All right, my friends, I hope that today this has inspired you to be you and stop the comparison game. It is the thief of joy. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every moment that you're given. And we will talk soon. Hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. You can connect with me on Facebook at Marie Groves, on Instagram at world_changer4life, or you can contact me at marie.groves@healingwaters.info. And remember, my friends, you were born to thrive, not just survive. Make it a great day.